Hey everyone, Mark the Movie Man here, and this past weekend a new film was released to select theaters out there across the nation, and it's one that I didn't know much about, and I'm glad I did, because going into it cold it was really effective. And I'm talking about She Rides Shotgun. It's from director Nick Rowland, giving us the story of Polly Huff, who she's waiting to be picked up from school, but instead of being picked up by her mom, she's picked up by her dad, who just recently got out of jail. Well, as they negotiate and she finally gets in the car with her dad, soon she finds she's on the run with Papa, as there is a price on her head and his by a group of individuals that her dad used to run with that he ticked off while in jail. And so we see how Nathan is trying to take care of this problem and his daughter and escape this life that he thought he left behind and this trouble that he caused. Meanwhile, this group that is chasing him down is also being investigated by a detective who is suspecting that there's also corruption in the police force. And this group has marked both Nathan and Polly to be killed. And so we see how these three groups play this cat and mouse type of game, just missing one another as we ride along and She Rides Shotgun. This film is an effective, character-driven, dramatic thriller where we have Taron Egerton putting in a transformative performance as Nathan. You wouldn't recognize him in here. He does so well as this guy trying to do right by his daughter and protect her, but also regretting his past choices and then also allowing that dark side to show through occasionally, even though he's trying to get past that. There are a lot of layers to Nathan, and that all comes through Taron Egerton's performance. You don't see Taron Egerton in here. You see Nathan McCluskey, and I loved his performance in here, and it was so effective, and it carries this film so much and gives so much weight to each of these scenes, seeing him struggle internally with every decision he makes, especially trying to protect and do right by his daughter by also recognizing he has not done right by his daughter. Now, his daughter Polly is played by Anna Sophia Hager, and she does fantastic in here. For a young actress in a role like this, I loved her performance as well, and her dynamic with Nathan. These two felt like daughter and father. They felt estranged a bit. You know, you feel her hesitation, her emotions, and she isn't an annoying kid character at all. She's a smart character, and that comes across thanks to Anna's performance. I really enjoyed watching these two interact with one another, and you're pulling for them this whole time. Even for the dark things that Nathan has done, you really want him to be successful in this, though you suspect it may not play out like you want it, just because you can tell, if nothing else, Nathan really loves his daughter, and that just comes through this performance of both these performers. Rob Yang plays John Park, the detective, and I really liked his supporting character. I thought it was interesting how they worked him into the story and how they end up having him cross paths with our main characters. He's a smart detective who's really he doesn't really care for Nathan, but he sees an opportunity to finally succeed in his mission in taking down these criminals that have been running rampant with meth in the state. And so, yeah, there's an interesting layers with his character too, where he's not corrupt, but he's not exactly a nice guy to our main characters. But yeah, I love the feeling of tension that we have throughout this movie. We get moments where you get to breathe with these characters and you get to learn more about them. You get some great touching moments in here. There's actually a wonderful scene, probably one of my favorite scenes in here, is between Nathan and Polly, as Nathan's trying to figure out how much money they have left, and they're in a cafe, and Polly's just watching him try to do math, and she just bam, 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 rattles off the numbers just like that. And I loved that moment because being a dad myself, my kids are wicked smarter than I am. And seeing them put that in this film was very realistic. And it felt like a true father-child relationship in there because I've been in that situation myself. So yeah, it does have some very extreme gunfights in here. There are some brutal moments in here as well that you need for a film like this, just so that you get the idea of what kind of dark side Nathan has. But overall, Nick Rowland really puts together an effective dramatic thriller about a dad and daughter relationship and wraps it all up in a very intriguing story that I think you'll be invested for most of it, and most of it really did not feel formulaic until maybe a bit of the end. It'd be the only other thing I'd say about this. But She Rides Shotgun is definitely worth your time if you like these types of films, these crime dramatic thrillers. I think there's a lot of great performances and direction in here, and a story that will keep you vested. So thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, bells and whistles, and all that here on The Final Cut. I appreciate your support. And until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.